Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. Over there is Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. That's the answer. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we are getting back to Peaky Blinders Season 4. This is episode 2 called Heathens. And wow, that action in the last episode with John, with Michael. Now we got the Mafia. Where is this going to go?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready, willing, and able to find out what Adrian Brody has in store for the Shelbys.
Yeah, we've seen some really heavy, I guess you could say, subject matter in this show over the course of the last, 4 seasons now. But the last episode, the way we finished that off, this is going to be a tough time for the Shelby family.
Yeah, I don't know if we probably did. We probably lost John. I don't know if we lost Michael. At this point, probably lost Michael too. I mean, we saw Grace get a shoulder shot and she was gone, right? I don't know. I'm just looking for some answers now with that wild ending that we saw and the tension in the first episode of season 4. I hope they continue that in episode 2. Let's go!
This is a mess.
Hey, Bob, we are way behind on schedule, so I'm going to need you to get everything hooked up like yesterday. All this stuff needs to be done by tomorrow. Got to have it done.
Boss, I'm not an electrician. I mean, shouldn't we wait for the pros?
This can't be that hard. Couple plugins, couple wires. It's not that big of a deal. We do not have time to wait for the electrician, so just get it done. I'm counting on you, all right?
I'm counting on you. Oh!
Jumping jackrabbits, Bob, what the hell happened?
Oh, I knew this was a bad idea.
Bob's instincts were right, but his supervisor didn't listen. Now Bob's injury could be worth millions.
Wait, did you say millions? Who are these professionals that can help me?
Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm with more than 1,000 lawyers and 4,000 case staff ready to fight for you if you become their client. But Bob is worried because he doesn't have the cash to pay for expensive legal fees. Worry no more. When your boss puts you in a dangerous situation and you get hurt, don't settle for less than you deserve. Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you every penny. And the best part? It's completely free unless you win. But Bob feels conflicted. He doesn't want to sue his boss, even if the company hasn't paid him for the last 6 months. When you sue for an injury, you're not suing your boss. You're suing their insurance company. There's no reason to feel bad about getting the compensation you deserve. So if you've been a victim in a car accident, medical malpractice, workplace injury, or any other personal injury, you can hit the link in the description to get Morgan & Morgan to fight for you. Bob did, and he sure is thankful Morgan & Morgan had his back.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Don't tell me they're going to just jump to it. Are we not going to get like a pickup from where we were?
Well, remember how they took out Freddy? He was just gone off screen. Granted, different.
They had different circumstances.
I began to warm and chill.
Do we take another time jump? This little guy looks way bigger.
Well, that could also be
There's
John
more
and Esme's kid.
Cillian butt for you.
We got that.
That's what you're taking from the scene?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we're getting a pickup. Thank God. Okay, so Michael's alive.
Michael made it.
Just got hit in the shoulder.
God damn it, John is gone. I mean, it was pretty obvious with the flailing, but...
He took a lot of rounds to
You know
the
me,
chest.
I like to hold on to my 1%.
Hey, don't worry. Grace is still alive, buddy.
In my heart.
Told the truth.
Oh,
I'm
Michael.
afraid I told.
It's oblique
Michael
and shoulder.
Well, yeah, we saw him at least get hit, what, twice?
Oh, he might not make it. That one of those was a gut shot.
It's all right. I don't fucking kids in here. I want soldiers. I don't want fucking kids who joined us for the sport.
Get out. Go on. Go.
Who served in here?
Damn, Paul.
Well, yeah, she's gonna have a complete turnaround like that because of this.
Oh, yeah.
Those bastards responsible.
Let them do their job, all right? Let them do their job. I'll get soldiers. I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh, she's all in for revenge right away.
Oh,
I
well, yeah.
thought she might blame
Go on,
Tommy there
Tommy.
for a minute. You know, this is your fault.
I was a
Tommy.
little worried too. I was like, "What? This is gonna go some wild ways here."
I think when the dust settles,
Oh, dude, this is gonna set Arthur off. We're getting old Arthur back.
You know who I want? I need the old Arthur.
It's gonna go one way or the
The
other.
mad dog.
No, this is going one way.
On his own doorstep. His own doorstep.
Holy dude, this is intense.
Yeah.
Like I got like goosebumps right now, guys.
Oh, John.
The Bleak Midwinter.
Can't look at him.
Come here, brother.
Leave me with him.
Wow.
No peace for either of you. Ever.
That was interesting.
Tommy, they're gathered.
I suppose it's go time.
Oh, got Arthur's hair back.
Or funeral time.
I like that shot because they made it at least to me, makes it feel like everyone's just like
Yeah.
What's the
dead eye on
I'm still waiting to
Tommy.
see. Still waiting to see Michael.
Michael and John were shot because we killed someone. Vincente Changretta. His son Luca has come to take revenge. These men will not leave our city until our whole family is dead. The bullet's been written. It says Luca. When the time comes, and it will come, he is the oldest brother who put this bullet into his head.
I think that's the first time he was like that in front of her.
Yeah, and she didn't.
At least on the show.
She didn't say anything.
No.
Until this business is settled, we stay together. These men are professionals. They're good at what they do, so we're going to need more than we have. We sent a message to Abraham Gold.
No, Tom. I'll get you 50 Levi's. Good men, Tom.
I don't need good men, Johnny. For this, I need bad men.
Tommy, his people.
Oh, wow. Right.
We're going to go on the offensive. I've spoken to Moss.
Moss.
I've spoken to Moss. Moss is putting out word. Eyes and ears so we can find him. Real or not real, the coppers don't give a about us. All right?
And care about who greases them the most.
We have to agree to end this war between us.
Oh.
Peace.
I was never a part of this, but peace.
Peace?
What is Paul gonna say?
My son's not here to speak. So I'll speak on behalf of us both.
I'm nervous.
Truce.
That's fair. Truce.
Peace versus truce. That's
Two for truce, one abstention. Let's get on with the war.
Hey, at least he noted it as.
Yeah, he counted it as two.
Well,
Yep.
he's tossed him a grenade.
I didn't know what that was.
I didn't know what it was. Good
That's-
eyes. What are they? Oh, look at that.
Is anyone else worried about the heathens that time you just hired? They made it a point to sound like there's some pretty bad dudes.
Yeah.
Like, not in a good way.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He doesn't need good
You
guys.
know when
he
the
needs
Lee
bad
boys
guys.
are worried about him because the Lee boys are their own unit.
Put out the bullets, Charlie.
More ammunition! You get covered! The Charlie's done!
Oh, man.
We'll like to sit in duck say if the wops come.
Yeah, well, Tommy said we should do it in the open. This is how John wanted to go, on the smoke. The truth is, we died together once before. Arthur, me, Danny Whizbang, Betty Thorne, Jeremiah, and John.
Oh, wow.
Jeremiah said we should sing in the bleak midwinter. The enemy never came. And we all agreed that everything after that was extra. And when our time came, we'd all remember.
You remember that God spared you. Well, what did you do with that extra time that he gave you, eh, Thomas?
Ooh, that's not the time or place for this.
He's really holding back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't like this smoke.
Man, this is crazy to see this. Oh, it's going to get ugly.
I wonder if our boys have somebody watching their back and these guys get
think
taken
that
out.
they would have the whole place surrounded. There's no way they'd go there out in the open. Tommy wanted them out in the open. So
He's trying to pull out as many as he can.
Yep.
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 Damn.
Here it comes.
And then there's the smoke.
Here's
Hey!
our guy Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Oh, just.
Oh. Look at Tommy. He didn't even flinch.
Look at him and Arthur. Both are just standing there.
The men doing the firing are on our side.
Oh.
Good old maze runner. Man, we got a stacked cast for season 4.
Definitely a heathen.
Put us out in the open on purpose.
Yeah, a little bit.
You set a trap! You set a trap with us a f***ing bait!
It was all under control.
You used your own brother's funeral. When did we vote on this, Tommy?
Curly?
Is this the last straw for Paul here?
I'm not staying for this, Arthur. I'm going home.
Home's 57 Watery Lane. You go there, lock the doors. You wait for me.
That's not what she had in mind.
Oh, boy. I mean,
Well, she was never cut out for this life anyway. I mean, come on.
You will stay here until it's over. Take the fucking key, Linda. Look, away from here, you are a weakness to all of us. They will take you hostage.
Yep.
And the baby. They will use the baby. Take it.
See, that wouldn't have worked if Arthur had said it to her.
The only way any of you Shelbys will leave this place is on a cloud of smoke like John. Well, you're a Shelby now too, Linda.
No.
That's the thing. Anybody associated with them.
Charlie, take him to the yard.
man, this is another dynamic of this show. This is going to get interesting.
My lady?
Very sinister.
Yeah, very sinister.
If there was a dude to play this role, they got him.
Was he that much of a badass in Game of Thrones, or?
He was an unsavory character. Let's just put it that way. I don't know
Again,
if
don't forget Maze Runner. You guys are forgetting Maze Runner.
right, but I don't know if badass is the term. Unsavory would be the better term.
Tom, tell Johnny to save me some goose, please.
Yeah.
Right
on
now?
it, Curly.
Oh, well,
Curly's got to get in a little levity, you know?
yeah, the security.
Oh, she's not going to be happy about that.
On your feet.
Wrong person to show that you're sleeping.
Right outside.
Whoops.
Those are the guys you got guarding him? Passed out and drinking?
Yeah. The soldiers that she requested.
The doctor said they say you're like a football.
What else did he say?
He said you took 4 bullets.
4?
Only one was alive. One was ricochet. 2 already spent.
2 passed through John.
Wow. John took the hit for him.
Watched him go.
I wonder, God, I didn't even take into consideration how this is going to affect Michael.
Tommy's back. We're all back. Garrison and Watery Lane, Charlie's.
You know what I mean? By like him seeing John right in front of him like that.
Yeah, he had to witness it.
Australia.
Give me a cigarette, Mum.
It's not loud.
Not so loud.
Yeah, I was going to like...
The doctor says it'll be 5 weeks, then you'll be able to be walking.
Ooh. That's a long time.
Carl told me I need to see him. Tell him to bring a gun small enough to fit in the chamber pot in case they
That
come.
can ban Tommy from coming.
That's probably not what he wanted to hear.
Is there any word of them going out on strike?
We go to Australia.
He just wants to get back to business.
I'm gonna get better slowly, but you need to get better fast.
Wow.
Without you, he falls apart, and without him, they'll take us all.
What line? You need to be there for Tommy.
And I promise, about that time at the end, we'll go to Australia.
But this has to be all done.
Oh, he
That
just
last
gave
line-
her the
reason.
Gave her the reason for her
Motivation.
to step up. Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to follow through, though. Is he just saying it?
I
to get
saying
her?
it feels like he's saying it because he knows that's what mom needed to hear.
Or
right
there'll
now.
be a change of plans with when the villains arrive.
The villains are right in front of us. Wow.
Just a sinister smile.
We'll take out the Italians, and then,
And then
since you got
somebody
your money,
else.
Shelby's, we might as well just take you
Yeah.
out now for fun.
Yep.
I like your yard, Mr. Strong. How much would you take for it?
No.
It's not for sale.
Not for sale. Okay.
Noted.
Oh, jeez. That would just be the worst. Hey, Quinn, that's a nice truck you got there. How much you take it for?
Be a shame if something happened to it.
That whole thing reminded me of John Wick with the gas station scene.
Nothing you see here is for sale, Mr. Gold.
Oh, everything is for sale.
Everything has a price.
You tell Mr. Strong I'm going to buy his yard.
This yard has been in his family since they settled.
But I've decided to make it part of our deal.
Oh,
Charlie, come here.
Tommy?
I'm gonna spin a coin for your yard, Charlie.
Going to what?
If it's heads, Abby here takes all of this with my blessing.
Tommy.
And if it's tails, I f*** your daughter, Mr. Gold.
Oh.
You have 3 daughters, I hear.
Oh, wow.
So make her part of the deal, spin her against the yard.
That's aggressive. Holy shit.
Well, Tommy has to let him know
Yeah,
who
that
the
he's
lead
not gonna
dog
be-
is.
He's not going to be pushed around.
Yep.
The deal's done.
Well, so he also let him know, I know your family,
Yep.
too.
Yeah. I did my homework. He's going to do it.
Please don't believe this is a joke. The coin to us is sacred. Yes, Arthur?
Sacred.
Oh, this is wild.
And if I win,
Then we'll insist that the terms of this agreement, wager, are fulfilled.
First, I thought he was
He's gonna-
funny because I was like, I like how you're coming at me. You're not fearing me as much as I would think you should.
No way he does this. I know he's ruthless, but come on.
The most
Tommy
anticipated coin
Shelby.
flip in history.
OBE. No wager today. But with this penny, I will buy a flower to put on your grave.
And there
When
it
the
is.
time comes.
When the time comes.
and before that time, please don't again disrespect my friends or the valued property. We miss Christmas. Let's have it now. Peace on earth, goodwill to all men.
just his smirk, his smile. Looking
Well,
back at
Tommy had to do that. Otherwise, like
yeah.
you said, answer,
Yeah.
why would Gold stop with taking out the Italians and he could take out Tommy's crew?
I got wire, I got chains, I got steel rods. Now what?
Right, put the steel rods up the geese's arse.
Oh, there's a quick.
No, I didn't get f***ing potatoes. What's the matter with you?
I want him to think that we live proper, that we eat proper, in the proper way.
What the f*** are you talking about?
I get the potatoes myself.
No, I don't like. I don't
I
like
know.
him
They
just going-
set a tone here where if
Anytime
one
they-
person strays away.
Yeah.
What you gonna do, Paul? This tiny
I always
little.
like that hers are a different color too.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop a comment. Does that just mean they're like a more expensive brand or more of basic brand?
Or those
I got to imagine the way she was talking about the shoes. Now that you brought that up, it's probably more of a high end.
the old
cigarette?
clothes. Wow, I haven't thought about those in a minute.
Lizzie says it's only these days.
Yep.
It's not.
What else are you supposed to say? I guess.
Yeah.
You
our mother went this way. Spirits and ghosts, tablets, seances, scaring us kids halfway to f***ing death.
That's why he's so against it.
Because in the smoke, I realised something. I'm just like you now. You and Arthur. I was dead in that noose. And then I was saved. So everything from now on is extra.
Oh.
Is when you're dead already, you're free.
Polly about to become a, super badass or what?
I'll help you because Michael wants me to help you. Get you vetted by Lizzie. They'll use your weakness. Don't take any new men on in the factories unless you know their families. And your new friend, Mr. Abraham Gold, he wants something other than just money.
Yeah, he already displayed that, Polly.
Ask him what he really wants.
I didn't even think about Tommy utilizing Polly and what she's doing to use that for him as leverage to get more information.
Yep.
Didn't even think of that. Brilliant. By the way, Polly's back.
Well, your grandfather camped with mine for a while.
That didn't last.
No, it ended badly. In a pub called the Wenlock. You were owed money. Still are.
Holding on. Still.
All right, something's up with this kid.
He's a red shirt, Dave.
Son or the boyfriend?
What is it that you want from me, Mr. Gold?
How do you know I want anything from you?
Is my company treasurer, was a certified accountant, and also apparently a witch.
Just the delivery, too.
Barney, take off your shirt.
What the hell is going to go on here?
What I want from you, Mr. Shelby, is for you to take a gamble on him. I want you to help my son achieve his ambition.
That is his son.
Yep.
Have him work with Arthur.
What ambition might that be?
He's got himself a new wild dog or what?
Dude, I see no good coming out of any of this.
Well, that's why Johnny warned him. Does he want to become a boxer? Does he want to just rough people up?
Well, what's stopping Gold to be like, hey, this is now another thing I want? Like, now that Tommy just asked that,
well, he asked him
that
what he
scene was
really
pretty not clear to me.
What is...
He's training to be a boxer?
He wants to rough people up.
Which is it?
I doubt he wants anything sporting.
Who is it?
Inspector Moss.
House check.
Yeah, but there was two guys that walked on and
Well,
then
we're in
walked out.
Birmingham,
they're in there.
so they're the guys that are just double checking too.
Oh.
Will you take a message? The intelligence service in London have sent 7 officers up to Birmingham to take over the investigation into communists and seditionists. They've got a list of people who create interest, and top of that list is Ada Thorne, formerly Shelby now. They seem to think that she came back from New York to organise a revolution in Birmingham. You get a mark against your name. It's very hard to shift it. They will come looking for her.
Jesus, just another layer.
These are military men, no less dangerous than any Italians. You tell Tommy, think he'll understand. Say good night to you then.
Dude, how much more can we keep piling on?
That's a lot.
God, this season's just going to end so bad.
There's still 2 to go after it.
And I mean, like, I feared a lot of death.
Yeah.
Like, not story-wise, it's going to end bad. Just,
Oh, look who's back.
holy Quinn!
The business partner.
The one he should have been with all along.
Oh, he's just going to act like he did. All right.
Are you going to train the horse to race?
Yes,
Don't use the crop. She's very gentle.
I won't.
Go.
I love how Charlie cares so much.
Dude, I just realized.
Curly,
She's
I'm sorry.
there. She's going to be another target. Blame you, Mason Quinn. This is all your fault for wishing for her back.
Yeah, they want to kill us all.
She'll be fine.
But we got guns and grenades and Polly's back, so it's going to be okay.
Last words.
It's going to be okay. Charlie just dumped a lot of information
Yeah.
off on her.
Oh, look at this shot.
That's pretty badass. The sparks and flames.
What made his way up today?
There's a supply from Coventry at 10, the convener of the Boilermakers Union at 11, and then Chamber of Commerce at 1. That isn't the thing.
Right, clear the space here, move this car back, give me on the feet or open a bell.
Rope.
Yep, and a bell.
Mr. Shelby, this place is about to explode.
Rope and a bell, Devlin. Bonnie, this way.
100 feet of rope.
A rope and a bell. Oh, he's going to make a boxing ring.
Yeah.
100 feet of rope and the bell. Okay.
Former heavyweight champion.
He wanted to fight Billy Mills.
Someone here wants to fight you. Bonnie Gold, come here, son.
I'm an heavyweight. He's a welterweight at best.
The less he wants to fight you.
Yeah, when I damage him, the blinders will take my eyes.
Now come back, Billy. It's just a fight. Queensbury rules.
When? Now! Where?
Now.
Here!
Oh, there's the rope and the bell.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going back to the days of season
Oh,
one.
they are at least wearing gloves. First, I thought they were doing
I don't know. The little man looked pretty fast.
Okay, that guy, I mean, he's been trained for the fight the whole time. The other guy just took a break.
Just pulled him off the job.
Yeah, he just been working for 6-7 hours. Now he's got to fight?
He hasn't boxed in a while.
Yeah, that's kind of the face I'm making.
Yeah, it's a very interesting twist here. What are we leading to?
Like, we got a lot of shit going on. Why are we wasting time?
Yeah.
It's just a big around game.
Yeah.
Finish it, buddy!
Oh!
Mate.
Just his dad's strength and his mother's temper.
See how it fits?
No.
How's man?
No.
How's he cut?
Well, no one's cut him yet, but his skin's thick.
Does he drink?
Porter, sometimes.
How many fights?
25, bare knuckle.
Oh.
Against robbery fighters.
That's why they won't let us in the fairs no more. He keeps winning.
I could fight a tree and knock it out.
I love it.
God, there's something more to this.
Well, at first I thought they were just going to maybe get that guy
He
to
said they're
train.
kicked out of the fairs.
Yeah.
So I think he wants to use Tommy's leverage to get him legitimate fights.
Yep.
But my thought process is there's always something behind it. There's more to
No, just a
leverage.
bit of sport.
It's gotta be.
Do you want some more tea?
No, what kind of sport?
Sport between men, Mrs. Eden.
Actually, I'm Miss Eden.
So,
A good man will come.
Jesus.
On the book, control the odds. Like an horse. Control when he wins, when he loses. Alfie Solomon runs a fighter. Says it's fucking money for nothing. Fighting's been good for us.
Alfie, huh? You can always trust Alfie.
That's why it'd be good to have the kid around. We take the fucking kid on. One day, may end up making a bullet for you. Can't afford to lose another brother. Get on. So he's all right. Come on.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
All right, we'll do it.
Oh, we need to do a deal about money.
Yeah, speak to my accountant.
The witch.
Yes.
So when will my first real fight be, do you think, Mr. Shelby?
Well, as soon as we can find anyone stupid enough to get in the ring with you. Here you go, Bunny.
Oh, giving him a hat. Wow.
These looks.
And now
gotta be
they're almost family now.
Yeah, but there's got to be some angle, obviously, from Gold because.
Well, maybe he
he's
just
not
wants his son to be a world champ.
Yeah, but he's not just going to let his son just go there.
I'm here to talk business.
That table.
Then I'll be blunt.
As will I.
What you're doing here is robbery.
Every man is free to leave.
You cut 5 shillings from the weekly wage.
Because you wanted him to.
Because he added 5
Well,
to the other.
that's not what she wanted.
You believe because coal is expensive and it's been a cold winter, and because wages have been cut over the past 12 months, you think because of all that, nobody will walk out on strike because no one can afford to. And until recently, that would have been true. But something has changed this past year. Cold wind from the east. People are not afraid anymore.
He's not even looking at her.
I have it on very good authority that the Bolsheviks couldn't organize a picnic.
Ada.
It's almost as if you want trouble.
Almost, right?
Rule of
Almost.
law in Birmingham were to break down during this period of turmoil for my family. And yes, that would indeed have its benefits.
Sport between men.
Just blow your f***ing whistle, eh?
Do it.
Go ahead.
Wow. Just,
It's almost, it feels like it. I'm not saying this is what it is, but to me, it almost feels like he just wants to see what happens. See if he's right, see if he's wrong.
Well, and it would create a lot of chaos.
And he did say right there, too, it has benefit.
Yeah.
But
Right, come on, you lot, put your tools down wherever they go.
here we go.
well, at least he just got some extra money before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took a beating.
I did say this would happen. He's a delegate from the European Council for Trade. He's come all the way from Paris. But given the circumstances, I could send him away.
Given what circumstances? Send him in.
Do you guys think this is going to be somebody that's not
Just another A-list actor.
I don't know.
I'm thinking it's going to be.
Is it?
Is that Adrian? This is what I mean. I think it.
Mr. Shelby,
Yeah, boy.
this is Monsieur Paz from Paris.
He knows exactly who it is.
And you had trouble.
And
Maybe that's why he wanted everyone out, too.
You just came from Paris, eh?
Got your shit pants on.
I heard you dress well, Mr. Shelby. But now I see, not so well as me.
I love hearing the clock in the background.
Just
Even the toothpick is making noise.
Mr. Changretta.
I am surprised how easy it was to get into a room with you. And now,
Uh-oh.
you should know that during the trouble you had earlier on your factory floor, I sent an accomplice into your office in overalls.
Gun's empty. But he would know that. Tommy would know that.
Arthur Shelby. Ollie Gray. Michael Gray. John Shelby. Spent. Ada Thorne. And finally,
He's going to say his kid's name.
Tommy Shelby. None of you will survive. Your level of security is pitiful. And we are an organization of a different dimension. I could have killed you when I walked through the door. But you see, I want you to be the last.
I want you to feel every last one of those souls gone.
Because my mother says that is what loves you the most. You people have traditions of honor. As do we. Instead of sending you a black hand, I could have had you killed in the night. But I want you to know why. And I want to suggest to you that we fight this vendetta with honor.
Honor. Men fighting for sport.
No civilians. No children.
No police.
Welcome to Birmingham, Mr. Changretta.
Grazie.
I don't know if that was the fade to black for the end of the show. That would have been
I thought so,
perfect.
too.
That would have been perfect.
Where's John, do you think, Tom? Nurse. He's gone there. Like a hole behind your head. It's like with Grace. Arthur, they're just gone. Just gone.
Oh,
Man, what another episode.
Gosh. So many
Peaky Blinders.
so many little things they did right in this episode. I mean, folks, does it ever seem like Tommy is ever totally in control and things are going his way for a season? Because it certainly doesn't seem to be that way with the seasons we've had. Like, he gets a little bit up and somebody knocks him down. He gets a little bit up, somebody knocks him down. It's like there's always a bigger fish in the pond for Tommy to have to deal with. And this episode, you know, what I kind of took away from it, aside from the just awesome storytelling, how our characters developed is, and I don't know what it was, maybe it was just me today, but there was so many little things that I noticed and I really liked that were done. I mean, not to say that they don't do little details right in this show, because they absolutely do. But because of the nature of the story that we were telling in this one, I really noticed a lot of the smaller things. Just because we just finished up the episode here, I'm going to kind of go with the meeting we had with Adrian Brody and Cillian Murphy in the office. That was outstanding. The little things they did where it was so quiet in there. It was so quiet. You could hear Adrian Brody with the toothpick on his teeth just to show how serious of a moment it was. And of course, Adrian Brody's character let Cillian Murphy know where things were at, how this was going to play out, how easy it was for him to get to him. And just showing that, Tommy keeps finding himself going up against villains in this case that are just on another level, more so than what he's ready for. However, as we've seen in previous episodes, Tommy does seem to find a way, whether it's luck, whether it's skill, whether it's calling in people to help him, he always seems to find a way. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out. But when they had the face-to-face, I loved how Adrian Brody was basically telling him how it was going to be. And in a not so subtle way, and this is the little thing that I'm talking about, they had the close up on Cillian and he's looking at him stone-faced, but he takes that big swallow and you could see it, in his throat. He took that swallow and he was nervous about the situations he was in as much as he was trying to kind of stand up to him. I mean, of course, the great scene with the bullets for everybody in the family, what he said to him. If I had a small nitpick with that scene, it's that Tommy is a trained soldier. He would probably know instantly his gun was empty when he grabbed it because of the weight. And I've seen that in, you guys remember, Taken. Well, it was in Taken, and then in Casino Royale, I think they did it at the end where Bond is with the baddie, and at the very end, I think it was Casino Royale. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, Daniel Craig is in the scene with the office. The guy pulls out his gun to use it, and Bond says, "Oh, you've been away from the fight for too long. You don't even remember what an empty gun feels like." And then he realizes it's empty. So that reminded me of that scene a little bit. But again, I'm not gonna. That's whatever. Take it for what it is. An absolutely brilliant scene with those two. I loved, and then now I'm gonna jump back to. We finally got an explanation, or at least from what I remember, a little bit more about Tommy and company's mother, what she was like. And he said that Aunt Paul is kind of going down that same road that she did with all the seances and all that kind of gypsy lifestyle. And Tommy's like, you're doing the same thing. Now we see that Aunt Polly kind of made the turn. Michael talked to her and said, you need to be there for Tommy, because without Tommy, everything goes away, and there is no Australia if all that happens. So I think Michael made that deal with her, and I'm 50-50 at this point if Michael does want to go to Australia or not, if he's going to follow through in the deal. I got a feeling it won't, because we have more seasons and there's always another villain to have to deal with. But I did like how we had that scene early in the episode. Aunt Polly gave me a vibe of like, before she talked to Michael again, I apologize, I'm working back to front, but Aunt Polly kind of gave me that vibe of like, we're all done. We're all dead. We made our beds. Now we're going to lie in it. There's no hope. And then it wasn't until she talked to Michael that she kind of reinvigorated that. She had her talk with Tommy about, the great thing about being dead is that you're essentially free to do anything, which I thought was very interesting.
Everything else is extra.
SMA, again, going back to front, SMA feels like, and I don't know what you guys think, but she wants to try to be done with the family. She's leaving. She's taking the kids. Can't say that I blame her. However, we've seen the reach of the Italians in here, that they can get anybody whenever they want. So I don't think she's in the clear yet. However, Tommy did make the deal that, no civilians, no kids, and then no police. So this is going to be wild how this plays out. I don't see Tommy having a fight necessarily with honor with the Italians. I see him doing it to a point, and then the big twist at the end is Tommy's going to do something dirty underhandedly. Of course, he has Mr. Gold as his kind of second, I guess, his backup, his reinforcements. The story with Bonnie and how he wants to be what we think is a championship fighter. He says he's a Peaky Blinders now, gave him the hat. That's a very strong commitment to make. So again, a wild episode. I can't believe all this happened in an hour. I mean, as I'm just sitting here talking about it, really is how long I'm going, and I apologize, but so much happened in this episode. Absolutely loved it.
It was good.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Michael, you threw me off there for a second answer. I'm like, oh, he's
No,
me.
this episode was, I mean, broken record, just amazing acting, amazing sound design. Like that, the scene between Brody and Murphy, it just was top notch. I mean, just hearing the clock was all we heard, and then the toothpick, and then even when he was like, taking puffs on his heater, just that the back and forth and just how smart he is, like him showing the. What I love too is when he said the suit that he has made by his uncle, every stitch is made by blood. So I love how that's him showing how much family matters to the Italians in this case. Well, to anybody, but to them that every stitch was in blood. So now you take one of ours, two of theirs. Well, that's what Tommy was doing. Hey, they take one of ours, we take two of theirs, and we saw that they even can kind of infiltrate. They had the funeral on purpose to try and draw them out. Well, then when they had the boxing match in the factory, that's when he had someone in overalls come in and take the bullets out of the gun. And then when he just laid them out there for each name that he was going to take. Now we didn't hear Michael, even though they already shot.
We heard Michael.
He
did hear Michael.
He
did say
Gray,
Michael.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, because I heard Polly Gray, I heard Arthur, and then we all thought it was to be that.
He said basically everybody except Esme and Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, which is the fact that he, I thought he was going to say Charlie because you saw we saw, with his, I shouldn't say just his previous, with a lot of his previous conflicts, they were going after kids as leverage. But when Adrian Brody's character came in, he said, "We do it with honor, no civilians, no children." So that was like, okay,
yeah, because he said the first episode.
So right now it sounds like
they're not going to use
could be
kids
Linda.
as
Linda
leverage.
could be okay.
Right.
I mean, they did say kids, so Arthur's children are going to be okay for the most for in this episode today in this moment. Right, so
for now,
which I think we saw in the previous episode when Michael and John got shot. If they wanted to, they could have rolled into that house and taken out everybody. If there was nothing that was going to stop them.
Well, right, and in that case too, right, it was
take out Michael,
take out John and Michael.
Yep.
If someone gets in the way, so be it. But those are your
That's
primaries.
the target.
Yeah.
And they didn't even go and finish the job on Michael, which we saw was 60-40, but 5 weeks, they said, until he's going to be up and moving around. And I don't think he's going to Australia. He just said what he just said.
Tahiti.
Yeah, that's his Tahiti. He just said that to get Paul back on the right track because, absolutely right. He's as good as Tommy is. If he doesn't have Paul there to guide him and to help him out, then they kind of fall in shambles because she's just that glue that holds everything together, and rightfully so, as we've seen. And then we saw that May's back, the old business partner. And I always love Curly's interactions with anybody because he's just so happy.
That's why I'm so worried about Curly this season. Now.
Okay, really? You had to say that.
I'm worried about him.
Oh my God, no! I'd be more worried about May because once again, it's another one of someone that Tommy cares about that they could easily take out. And then even earlier in that with Curly too is that they ran out of ammunition, that they're getting so many people ready for this war with the Italians that they ran out of ammunition. They had to call out for more bullets. I mean, they had enough pieces, but they didn't have enough bullets for everyone. And then I love the whole with Mr. Gold and Tommy with the flipping of the coin, just because Tommy had to make sure you're not going to walk all over.
Yeah, he had to level.
He had to make sure, that's why everything here is off limits. We'll work if you need something that's within my power to give to you. I'm not just going to give you someone's yard that they've had since they've settled. So I thought that was a really integral scene. But then Paul knew that he wanted something more. Just ask him what he wants, and now we see that he wants his son to be a pro boxer. Which, that'd be a lot of money, but also then you can get one under your hand. So really good episode.
Yeah, I think Mason Quinn and Answer did a really solid job of kind of touching on the bigger points, but I want to revisit something Answer brought up, and that was May, her reintroduction here, because it's been a minute. And to me, that was one of the most curious things of this episode, because these writers for this show, writer, yeah, I always gotta correct myself, writer. The writer of this show, the job has been done so incredibly that normal stuff that you might see in another show where you don't put too much weight on or you don't think it's really going to play out to be something, I I don't look at this show the same way just because of how incredible the writing has been. So May's introduction, Answer, you touched on the one thing, is either for me going to be they need to reintroduce a level of vulnerability for Tommy with a love interest. Grace is gone. Him and May have history. So is that a new point for him where they can kind of hit him harder than they otherwise would have been able to with just his family? Of course, Adrian Brody's character came in and said he wants to see him in as much pain as possible. They also said we're going to do this with honor. So that's my one school of thought with May's reintroduction. But the other thing I wonder with May is she knows about Tommy's lifestyle. She knows about Tommy's past. She knows what they do. She's still doing business with him. And we know that May is insanely wealthy from the house that Tommy stayed at. And I'm wondering if
she's bored with it.
She's bored. She's ridiculously wealthy. I'm wondering if they are not reintroducing her to have some sort of connections that she can use to help the Shelby family battle the Italians. So I, as far as everything that went on in this episode, obviously a huge episode. Again, we've got this one-on-one dialogue that they've done such an amazing job with through all the seasons. As you get these scenes where it's just two people dead quiet and they have these just incredible scenes. And they did that with that. But again, the heavy things for me here were May's return as far as, what's going to happen with the plot. And then the other really big thing for me was Paul coming to that point where she's like, I'm all in. That speech, another one-on-one speech where she said, you know what, when I was in that noose, that was the equivalent of when you guys were, hampered down waiting for the Prussians and you thought you were done. And she's like, it's freeing. So I'm wondering what level we're going to see Paul go to. She has two things. She has, obviously, she came to the realization there's that freedom, as she put it, but also in her head, Michael told her, let's finish this and we'll go to Australia. So now she has the motivation to finish it clean with as much of her family intact as possible. So for me, incredibly well written. The introduction of, and I apologize, I forget his name, of our new accomplice slash I don't know, adversary. I don't even know how to introduce him. A phenomenal job by him. Of course, we've seen him as we talked about in Game of Thrones and in Maze Runner. But then Adrian Brody doing what Adrian Brody does is delivering phenomenal performances. So again, along with the videography, the sound design, the way they bring the color tones down just a little bit to make it feel gritty, the writing, the acting, this show just continues to deliver. And as far as I'm concerned, is still one of the peak shows that I've ever seen. And I just could not be more impressed. I can't believe it feels like we've been on this journey for a really long time, and we still have all of season 4, 5, and 6. So basically, as much as well the rest
and a movie.
Yeah. So the as far as we've come, it feels like okay, we almost have that much in front of us.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. Again, another. It's almost like we need to take a 5 just to kind of rehash just a little bit of what happened in the episodes, because Stephen Knight is doing such a good job of getting, I will say, the most bang for your buck in an episode. Now, one can argue for sure that specific little details that somebody wanted, like Quinn here, wanted, could be added, sure. But regardless, still tip of the hat, because still to deliver and still keep at least me as an audience member gripped to the show. Well done. Here, I'm glad in the open we had time for John. This is kind of what I was trying to reference, and I probably did a poor job of explaining it, but this is what I was expecting for Grace. Just a little something, because she's a big piece for Tommy, who's our main character. Here, we actually had the time to see them grieve over the body, do a funeral. Granted, now the funeral was also part B of a plan, but we still had it. To see Esme have the most appropriate response every time she sees Tommy, because ever since she's gotten, does he work for you, or however he said that, I feel like it's been a very bumpy road for Esme. And also with I thought it was a good way to send out John. Now, again, I don't know the specifics of why he was written out, or if it's just kind of like what they said to do with Grace. I know some folks were saying in there might have been, in the comments, if I remember correctly, that there might have been some tension between the actors a little bit. So maybe that could have had a part. I'm not sure. I didn't look it up yet, folks. I just kind of want to take season 4 in before I even try looking, because I feel like it could get horribly spoiled trying to, why did John get written off?
Yeah, well, I think, I think that's always, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's always something that sits in the back of your head as viewers, and certainly us as reactors, is when we lose somebody who's a main character, you can't help but guess, okay, was that in the writing? And, oh man, or did they have some sort of other commitment? Was there conflict on set, either between actors or even between, the actors and the directors? Did they feel like they weren't being paid enough and they were, a main character?
Yeah, we're behind the 8 ball in the news, right? So if we were in real time, like with the movie, I haven't seen anything on that besides that's being made.
So there's all that.
We'd have that news.
But we've seen, other shows, Walking Dead, obviously it follows a comic. It's not just, a complete original script, although they did a lot of, cut a lot of liberties with the comic. But we've seen other shows where, main characters they pass as part of the story, but it's hard to not, kind of ask yourself, was there more to it? Yeah. So,
Yeah, so I'm, again, glad we had some time spent on that to feel more of the emotional impact on our characters and along with that. And I was saying in there too, and I don't know how it was cut. Hopefully it was cut with everything. But I wasn't taking into consideration how just that moment in time where Michael and John got blasted, how that's going to affect Michael moving forward. Not even just taking hits, just seeing what happened to John before he took the hits. Because he made point in saying that to Paul, or at least mentioning something along that. So I'm just kind of curious how that is going to affect Michael moving forward, because we've seen multiple times he's really digging this world, right? Yep. And now that it just got really real like that in front of him, and then
they're not untouchable. Hit. And he's found out twice. Look, they were in jail cells. They were, ready to seconds away from their own demise, and now this, and there's this kind of this untouchable feel that he had earlier on in previous seasons. That's got to be gone. Like, dude, you're not.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, Diamond Dave, because they made a point to describe the bullets, and I've never seen that done before on a show ever that I've watched in history, where they describe one was a ricochet, one was clean, 2 were spent, and I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant until they said they passed through John. I didn't know what he meant by spent. And that was important to bring up, because John took those hits for him, and how is that going to affect Michael?
Yeah, see, that exactly. That's exactly what I'm curious moving forward now with Michael's psyche and emotions and feelings and all that moving forward too. I have a lot here, but I'll kind of keep it short. I don't trust Mr. Gold whatsoever. I feel like this boxing thing is just another lane for us to get into some deep shit with the Shelbys. Time will tell if I'm horribly wrong or right on that. I feel like that boxing was just the first step to get in the liking somewhat of Tommy. Because I feel like if Gold uses something that Tommy likes and then shows him this shiny little thing, maybe Tommy could be slightly diverted a little bit from the actual something of what's going on. That's just the theory.
It worked with Tom Hardy. It worked with Alfie's character. That worked with him a little bit, where Alfie was able to kind of be a blind spot with Tommy, what he was really up to.
Yeah, and I'm keeping that in mind. Again, I don't trust Goldworth.
Well, you know what really caught me with the boxing thing is if it's legit with Gold, his son seemed very proud, and he also seemed very proud. Like, they want to make this legitimate. Now, he said, they won't even let us in the fairs.
He's too good.
And then we saw Johnny Dogs earlier talk about, look, their reputation is this bad. So on one hand, it's like, okay, we're going to use Thomas because maybe he's got the connections. He can get my son to where he needs to be. And look, that's a big thing. The point of conflict that I'm predicting or very curious about is if the father and son are that prideful about their fighting, they made a point of Tommy saying, we control when he wins and we control when he loses. And the first thing that I thought is that, okay, one of two things is going to happen later on, or kind of in the same hand. What if they get this kid on a run and they make this a part of the storyline, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, by the way, now you need to take a fall. And the dad and the kid are like, we're not losing. And either they do it for money and then the kid's reputation or is whatever, or on the flip side of that, Tommy and Arthur say, hey, look, you're losing this fight, take the fall. And he says, okay. We've seen this before in some other films.
Yep.
He says, okay. And then the son goes through and wins, and then Tommy and Arthur lose a massive amount of money, and that creates the rift. So
which would affect the kid
first,
and
the
Gold.
first time, I was like, okay, yeah, Tommy's excited about him boxing, and then the second he said we control when he wins and when he loses, I'm like, that right there is going to
because they made it a point to show that he unsanctioned. But he hasn't lost.
He's good.
Yeah. And when he just took out the former heavyweight champion in a matter of seconds.
We could break that down,
to
right?
To be fair, he was working a shift.
It was
he was out of
shift,
training.
a little tired, a little out of the game, no training.
When was the last time he picked up a jump rope?
But heavyweight versus welterweight at best.
Just the size alone.
The timing
Take
of,
everything out.
The timing of this episode and the discussions about older heavyweight champions.
I know, right?
Younger people. Pretty interesting, right?
With Polly being back, it was great to hear that speech from her, and she was dialed in talking to Tommy, and I feel like Tommy absolutely needs that. And I wasn't thinking until she had that speech about the noose and everything else about how Tommy can start leveraging this witching of hers that she could do, because she kept talking about the senses about Gold, right? Or however she sees that about Gold. And I felt like that was the first time Tommy, during this stint of hers, that he was listening to that little bit after he just previously said something about this is what Mom was doing and all this witchcraft and seance. So right there, though, Tommy opened his ear up and actually took the words in and digested it.
I think he realized that it doesn't matter if he believes it. All that matters is that if Polly's right or not. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter if he believes it.
Right. And with Tom, and I feel like
it wasn't the tablets. She said she just noticed.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Polly is in that stage or in that mindset right there, whether it's a dry, where it kind of comes off harsh, but it's not meant to be harsh. When she's in that mode, I feel like Tommy's listening to every second and picking up everything. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season moves forward now with Polly being like this. And if it's just during this moment in time to get past all this mess, or if Polly's going to actually stay like that. So we look forward to that. The Moss. I'm real curious now with how that's moving forward, because he even made mention that the government is just as bad as these Italians. So, and they're coming for Ada. That's another layer. And I know we're missing several layers that just got dropped on us in this episode, but I feel like that one has my flags up.
Can we just have one conflict at a time?
No, I love it. I love it. And then May being back, I'm worried. I know they just had Adrian and Tommy had the, or Luca and Tommy just had that honorable pact.
Well, they didn't say women were off.
But I know, yes, but line of fire, they don't care. I'm worried about May now being a target, especially since she just showed up in Birmingham there. And then the end with Tommy and Luca, thank you so much for not putting music in, because I feel like with adding music would have taken away the serious tone that they had there, at least in my opinion and taste. But here with that, when the second that he said someone from that European blah, blah, blah was here, I'm like,
that's it. Well, we all
it's
know.
an Italian. Somebody. I just didn't know it was Adrian until he came. They showed the guy coming through the door there a little bit. But phenomenal acting in that scene. The tension high. It was awesome with the bullets. Awesome with the toothpick. Tommy being forgetful of a weighted pistol. But either way, still phenomenal. And I just, as much as Tommy's trying to tighten down the ship a little bit, there's still moments where I can't tell if he's intentionally trying to be reckless to pull in so he can fill in gaps to where he might not be recognizing, or if it's just, I just truly don't give a shit, but this is going to happen one way or another. Either way, fantastic.
You know what I think has been a consistent theme from season 1 all the way through now is he has to keep leveling up with the people he's dealing with.
Yep.
Every baddie is always
he dealt
worse.
with the other racetrack owner. I forget his name already. Billy. But he dealt with the other racetrack owner, and that was like one level. And then he had to deal with the IRA, and that was a level. And he had to deal with Sabini. He had to deal with Campbell, and so he's dealing with all these different levels of people who have different ways of getting after his family. Had to deal with the Russians and the priests, and I mean all this stuff. And now he's dealing with the mafia, and they're showing how, once again, he's got his security, he's got this. Well, they showed the scene with Michael in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, hey, your security's not that good.
Yep. Passed out drunk.
He thinks he's leveling up.
Wow,
and
maybe not.
There's people on higher levels.
There's actually one more thing, and then I'm done, I swear. With that ending scene, though,
I'm glad you
curious.
touched on that. I was going to.
I'm curious, real quick, with the ending scene. There's one thing I'm just curious to see if everyone may connect with, or just like, fuck off, Dave. They've shown in episode 1 that the Italians are out to take out the people that Luca just mentioned. I get it. We want to have a pissing contest here a little bit between Luca and Tommy, just to kind of set like, hey, anytime. Anytime. If it's a bloodlust revenge, which it is, I'm curious as to why Luca just didn't end it right there. No, I get it. Dave, he takes out Tommy. There's no more show. I get
and
that.
he wants him to suffer.
Well, he wants him to suffer.
Wants him
That's
to
what they
suffer,
gave
and that
us.
was the whole point of it. But sometimes too, if that was the case, and Luca knew he was coming there, I'm sure he knew where Arthur and all these other folks were. He could have easily just 1, 2, 3, 4 Tommy.
Been like,
But I know Tommy went to.
They're already taken care of.
I'm just curious because again, I like the way they went here, but I'm just curious to some folks. Would you rather? Do you question that sometimes too?
Well, I was actually.
But I get the whole point here. I just want to phrase that because I know if someone's watching this, Dave, you just missed the whole point.
Yeah, it's
I
like they could have
100% stand.
They
the whole
could have done the
point.
Walter White thing where he took out all the witnesses in prison within like 4 minutes of each other, or whatever it was.
Well, it's
60
curious that you
seconds.
bring that up because I'm thinking, okay, the bullets are empty. For 1 second, I was thinking there he slid the one bullet over
just
so he
grab
had it. It would have taken him a half second to load the magazine in, pop it, been good to go. The other thing is we've seen that they showed us in earlier seasons with Tommy having to have hand-to-hand combat in the tunnels. He knows how to fight. Look, he still had his pistol, so he could have hit him with the pistol. They didn't really show us whether Adrian Brody's character was armed.
He said when he walked in, he said that he could have taken him out right away as soon as he walked in the door.
But I think that was hypothetically. I was able to walk in. I don't think it was.
And he made it. It was really easy, Tommy.
But the other thing on the flip side of that, I wonder if it didn't go through Tommy's head, like, okay, I should take him out right here. But okay, if he walked in this easy, is my factory surrounded?
Right. He didn't walk in without a plan.
He didn't walk in like, look, there's probably 20 dudes outside just waiting, just in case. Tommy get Arthur in here now, and Arthur starts running and pop. All of a sudden they unload. There's a lot of different ways. I think that last scene, they set
I'm glad
it up.
it happened though.
They
Glad
set it up, I think, for us as viewers to play out a whole bunch of different scenarios,
Which is great because it does create conversation for sure. So,
as it did
again,
here.
loved it.
Yeah. We are.
I'm just curious if anyone is in that thought process of like, well, why didn't Tommy do something, or why didn't Luca just do something right there? Again, I know Luca said I want you to be the last, so you could see and get this pain before I take you.
Well, and I think it's the terror that he's going to put him through. When is it going to happen? When is it now?
intimidation.
Again, he wants him to suffer. Last thing I wanted to hit on was the scene with Tommy and Arthur in the alley where they both finally let some emotions out. Arthur crying against the wall. Tommy, who we don't normally see, get kind of, I guess I'll say frazzled or pissed in a way, just dumped 3 rounds into the wall out of anger. That was, or 4, whatever it was. That was a great scene of both those guys finally letting out some emotion because they've had to be so on point throughout the episode.
And in fairness, Arthur in this episode was letting out a fair amount, but it was a little. It continued though, like it's still with him.
Yeah, right. Here we go.
That was episode 2.
Season 4.
Where do we go from there? This has been so phenomenal.
Oh, one more thing.
That's all phenomenal.
Yep. So, for you guys, and for you, well, you already seen it, but did you have this thought with the Italians and that ending scene of him just basically saying, "We got you at any moment. It's just a matter of when I want to do the deed." How do we top the villains for season 5
5
and
and
6.
6.
Yeah.
Because it's already, like you guys were saying, we're leveling. Like, how do you top the Italians? So that's kind of where my head's at, too.
That's where I'm
done.
afraid our friendly heart of the show, Curly, might be in danger. Because we
just
love him so
stop
much.
it. All right, there's already
Alone
so much
with
going on.
Curly.
You don't have to bring Curly in.
Wrap it up.
So this was so much fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. So for Appleton Oak, Diamond Dave, that's Mason Quinn. I'm, of course, the answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals.